important to sort of distinguish between some of these different types of buildings, because I think for e-commerce, for the big Amazon sheds, I mean, as far as I can gather, I mean, the location of those sheds is primarily driven by the availability of the labour force more than necessarily the kind of transport connectivity. And I mean, when we're looking to invest, you know, the transport hubs is a key driver. I mean, we're a location-driven investor, and sustainable demand for the unit is you know, a key factor in our underwriting. So probably the Amazon big sheds is not the sort of thing we'd invest in, because in my mind that's an Amazon sale and leaseback, and really, you know, at the end of that lease, if they don't stay, you know, you could end up in a very difficult situation. So to me, that's very particular to Amazon. But you know, the smaller sort of hubs near big metropolitan areas, you know, you can see that, you know, appealing to a multiple number of e-commerce retailers. And there, I think, you know, you can build that argument of sustainable demand. But in terms of traditional logistics, which I think is more where the oversupply was, yeah, I think that has been absorbed. And I still think that there will be a requirement for these traditional logistics in very strong location hubs, and that's primarily where we're focusing on our investment. But I think the other thing that to note is that, you know, e-commerce is still evolving as a sector. And I think if you speak to, you know, developers, and I welcome these guys to comment, you know, there still is, it strikes me, quite a lot of variance in terms of demand, in terms of spec, in terms of how much mezzanine, how much docks, how much office, etc. And, you know, I'm not sure that the ideal model has yet been stumbled upon. As Richard was saying, you know, there was multiple diagrams he could have put of the e-commerce, you know, supply chain model, and it strikes me that that is still, you know, yet to be established. What is optimum? And I think that's perhaps why there is investor caution with regards to investing in the space, because, you know, the high income return, the real preservation of capital, all these good things about industrial, it's great, but, you know, in a way they're compensating you for the bigger risk, which is obsolescence. And I think that's still, you know, the big factor when you invest in logistics and industrial. And, you know, you're right to be cautious, I think.